Hi there, my name is Adrian. I am the owner of Performance High, and
I'm Justin, producer and coach at Performance High.
so we've been talking about this topic.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
Sticking with it.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about it because I realized the other day how much perseverance, just sticking with it, is often the difference between getting so many musical things done and not getting it done. And we'll talk about a bunch of things, but the thing that triggered it for me was being in a writing/recording session. And the singer I was working with had an idea for the song, and we just could not find the musical accompaniment. We just couldn't find the vibe, couldn't find a part to really make the song work. And so we sat there and just kept trying things for about 2 hours, maybe 3. Just, how about this? Nope, that doesn't work. How about this? No, that doesn't work. 15 minutes building an idea and then going, that's just not the right idea. And, it wasn't a stroke of luck. It was just sticking with it and trying one thing after another. And then when it happened, it felt like a bolt of lightning that, like, oh my God, there's the song, we got it. And then we had the whole thing put together in 30 minutes after that. But it was the just not giving up, just not getting frustrated and giving up. And it just made me think, like, how often, that impacts us. I mean, I don't know, it applies to a lot of subjects with music.
I mean, it's a life lesson, really.
It's a life lesson, really, yeah.
And, like, I've been working on this. Whenever I pick a new song to learn on bass that's really inspirational to me, it's usually because it's hard, which means it's way beyond me. And so most of the project songs that I've tackled in the last 2 or 3 years that I've been taking lessons have taken at least 6 to 12 months to get down. And there's one I'm still working on. There's just one tiny piece of the song that is not quite smooth yet. It's What Is Hip by Tower to Power. Got it all down, super solid, except this one little piece. But it's been over a year. I've been working on this thing, on and off over a year. So that's more of a, I guess, mid-size. You were talking like macro size, like working for 2 hours when it felt like you should give up after 20 minutes.
Right.
Here I'm talking about working for a year when maybe you think it should have only taken a couple of months. And then there is the much bigger picture.
Right.
Artist development.
Artist development, because, and unfortunately, I've known people over the years who tried really hard, but then just kind of packed it in, whether they stopped doing it or whether they just stopped trying really hard because they went, oh, well,
I'm not getting where I want to be
in
3 or 4 years, so this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, and that's a story you hear with lots of artists where they just kept trying and kept working on things.
Oh gosh, that makes me think of Goji.
Right.
Somebody I used to know.
Right.
So I think he'd been doing music, I don't know if it was full-time, but he'd been dedicated to his music for a decade before he had that hit.
Right. And
that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah, it does take a long time. And I think that's, like Adrian was talking about with bass playing, I think, sometimes I talk to, clients that we're working with, whether it's teaching guitar or teaching songwriting or stage performance. And I find, sometimes people try 5 or 10 times and then they throw up their hands and go, I just can't do it. Or, that's just not my thing. And the truth is, for all of us who work on music, we didn't learn things quickly. It took often, a year to get certain things down. Or I know with recording and making music, the only way to do that is to make record after record that often doesn't sound that great. And that's the only way to get better at it, is just to keep doing it over and over again. And I think that's really true, of performance and songwriting and everything in music. You just have to not be as good as you want to be and keep doing it to get as good as you want to be. There's just sort of no other way to do it.
I always think about what your uncle would say.
Best advice I ever got. And I was lucky enough that I heard this really young, that my uncle said, and sometimes I mess up the phrasing, but my uncle used to say, you know how you get good right? You just suck until you don't suck anymore. And hearing that as like a 12 or 13-year-old gave me so much permission.
Yeah, it's okay
to just
to not be perfect right out the gate.
Yeah, and I knew my garage band wasn't good, but I knew we just had to not be good for 3 years or 4 years until we were good. And so, yeah, I guess that's what this talk is about. It's just, don't get frustrated. Don't put the thing down.
Yeah, it's just this process. I think sometimes our students get really intimidated about performing for the first time, especially because they think they're not ready yet, and they're measuring themselves against some sort of, final product that they've seen from Beyonce or something like that.
Or performers who've been done hundreds and hundreds of shows.
Right, right. You aren't going to be 1,000-show seasoned professional the first time you get on stage. So let's start getting those out of the way. Let's just start counting those numbers up,
It's really weird how much I give that advice. I mean, that's one thing I say with songwriting and teaching songwriting is you're just going to write some crappy songs. So let's start getting those out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and write some bad songs first.
It feels like it clears it out.
In a weird way, it does. And we talk about that with stage too. I mean, one of the ways you learn how not to make mistakes is by making those mistakes. And you can't learn oh gosh, don't do that. The best way to learn it is to do that and go, whew, never do that again. Now it's behind me. Now I know. So anyway, we just wanted to talk about perseverance. Sticking with it.
I mean, and this is one that's full of cliches, but one more thing before we end this one is work ethic trumps talent every single time. So I have some talented students who just if it doesn't come for them the first or second try, they're done. And I have some talented but less talented students, but with crazy work ethics, who practice and who listen to me and apply the advice. And over time, they are the ones who get the gigs and get in the bands and and achieve their dreams. Honestly, It is not mostly about talent. It is mostly about work ethic. Talent plays a part, but work ethic can trump all.
And not giving up. Yeah.
Okay. So
all right.
Off our soapbox.
Off our soapbox.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Bye.